Can you tell I'm in denial?
You can't stay at the top forever.
I was also very surprised when I looked at my phone and saw Joe Girardi dismissed.
Well, I think mine were with common sense.
I think now belongs in the all-time greats top 10.
Boston, I really think only got to this point because of a guy named Chris Middleton being out for the Bucks.
That power play just was unbearable. It was humming.
Man, am I happy. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he was going to come back.
When I think of New York Yankees now, it's Judge. Probably people in the past when Jeter was coming up.
I would be shocked. A little bit hurt.
Hey, this is Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, TexasFootball.com, and Valley Sports Southwest. You are listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. Austin, this comes after the San Antonio Spurs defeated the OKC Thunder, Oklahoma City Thunder, in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Oklahoma City's hopes of winning their second straight championship were dashed, and it begs the question, kind of, how do you approach this offseason when this is probably the weakest the Spurs are going to be?
Yeah, I guess we really have to see exactly, but yeah, I think that this is going to be one of the weaker teams for the future, and I think that it's going to be a very stressful offseason for OKC. I know you can say, oh, they have so many picks, oh, they have so many good players, but Chet scored 4 points on 1 of 2 shooting from the field. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, misses Game 7, plays horrible in Game 6. Maybe not 100%, but in 10 minutes, Kevin, he was minus 18. And Shea, who played well in Game 7, did have a very disappointing series. If you're Sam Presti, what is your answer to the future of this league? Because I don't think the Spurs are the only team. I think a fully healthy Nuggets. I think the T-Wolves, if they add a true point guard. I think the Lakers, if they can get a true center. There's some teams here that I still think can build up towards competing with the Spurs and Thunder in the West. So the Thunder have to act quickly.
I agree with you on that. And the benefit for the Thunder is you have a lot of picks. And you can use them in different ways. You can draft guys, develop them, or you can go make moves. And I think you can approach the offseason in 2 different ways. One is you kind of play it safe, you maintain this team, or you look at revamping it, of just like trading some guys. Like maybe you look at trading Chet or I don't know, Jada, but just other guys on the team, maybe Caruso, and letting younger guys and just developing it, because you do have to think about how do you want to build your team and be prepared. They tried it with Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, pairing them together, and that was kind of supposed to lend them to dealing with tall front courts of just, and you kind of have that with Wemby, but that didn't work because the guy you had, Chet, did not play well against Wemby. So I think you have to consider kind of revamping the construction of the team and the pieces around Shea, and just what you want the team to look like.
Yeah, that's completely true, and I completely agree with that. I do think that this team obviously is going to be based around Shea, and they're going to keep a lot of the older guys, whether that's Hartenstein or Caruso. Case and Wallace, I think, is here to stay as well. You have to make a choice and trade either Jalen Williams or trade Chet. One of those two has to be gone because of the money situation, the apron. We'll do a conversation about Adam Silver and how he's kind of, I think, mismanaged or dropped the ball on a lot of these new rule changes, whether it's the anti-tanking rules or the tax apron stuff. But the Thunder are going to have to make some moves quickly so that they don't reach concerning territory regarding how the team's makeup is, because they're going to have to pay these guys a lot of money. If you were going to trade one of J-Dub or Chet, who would you lean?
I would trade Chet.
I completely agree. I think you can add a center in Hartenstein right now. You have some young guys like Thomas Sorber, and you can draft a center this draft. I mean, you have a decent pick, and drafting a big this draft would make it to where, okay, we don't really have to. Chet looks scared. There's no other way to put it. He looks scared. Shooting 1 for 2, shooting 2 or 4 from free throw. He was terrified. When he shot 0 of 2 at one time at the line, and I thought he was genuinely terrified. And he kind of lost all his morale. Yes, he's still a good defensive player, but for a first team all defense, third team all NBA, to score 4 points in an elimination game, that's brutal. And I think that he's more concerning. Yes, I do think J-Dub has some injury concerns, and he really needs to spend this offseason getting healthy. But I think that J-Dub's a little bit more of a lost commodity, or a commodity that's a little harder to obtain than Chet.
Yes, I think also Chet, I don't know, is living up to kind of what you wanted when you picked him. It was kind of billed as kind of, this is a guy, he was drafted before Wemby, but next big guy, and this is a tall guy that can compete with Wembyama. But that just isn't the case, as this series has shown, especially in big moments. So I think moving on from Chet makes more sense because you have Hartenstein, then you can pair someone else in that front court that can better play against Wemby and just kind of outscore him or just compete against in different ways. So it's difficult, but I would say also I agree with you on Casey Wallace. I think he's going to further become more developed and become a bigger piece of the Thunder. But it's just kind of using the picks that they have to either trade up, get the guy that they want, or draft multiple guys that they could further trade.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's time to panic, though. I think that this is still a very good roster, a team that I think will be very good next year. It's not time to panic. It's just time to make some big decisions. It's not time to panic, though.
Yeah. You have to make big decisions. You don't need to blow it up, but you also have to wonder, how am I going to do well in the next few years as teams continue to get better, and one of those teams being the Spurs.
Yep.
So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.